Tell Me More podcast is being recorded on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We pay our respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures. Welcome to Tell Me More, where we have conversations about the good, the bad and the real. I'm your host, Olivia Molly Rogers. Welcome back. Today we have an episode of Ask Me More. It is me and Daniel, and we will be answering questions that you have submitted. Hey, Dan.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. Excited.
Really?
I don't know why I said that.
No, excitement's good.
No, I am excited. There's some good questions here. We've got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
A couple of voice ones.
A few DNMs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hit me with it. Let's go.
Well, I might start with a couple of the easy layup questions because there's some deep voice notes that we can get to after this. We'll start with a nice and easy one. I really liked your honesty about finding personal style. Can you talk about this on the podcast?
I can talk about this on the podcast. This has been something I answered this question on Instagram the other day for those who were listening and did not see that. I think the question was something like, how do you find your personal style? Oh no, I love your personal style. Do you still work with a stylist? Something like that. And yeah, I've always been hesitant to answer that over the last couple of years because I've felt so lost in my own sense of style, which then makes me feel like somewhat of an imposter because I think online, I post like fashion content, and to be struggling behind the scenes to actually know what I even like when it comes to fashion has felt so off. So for years I was working probably too frequently with a stylist, and people would comment being like, why do you use a stylist all the time? Do you not know how to dress yourself? And that would trigger me because they were correct. Like I didn't know, I lost my sense of self so much so that anytime I made the decision to put on an outfit, I was like, I don't know if this works. Yeah, I'd pick out an outfit, have no idea if it worked or not. And then I would have to ask for reassurance from either my stylist friend or my mum or, a bunch of people to tell me it was okay and tell me it looked good. Whereas I don't have that now. I can put something on and if I feel like I like it, then that's like all I need. No matter how many times someone tells you you look great in something, if you don't believe it and you don't feel comfortable and it doesn't feel like you, it's not going to land. Like you won't believe them. And I think I was getting that wrong for so long. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it feels good to be able to, be more decisive and feel more like myself.
Yeah.
But I do think that that's come with, a lot of therapy.
Awesome. Another one here. Any advice on feeling behind in life?
Yeah, I think it's so hard, like much easier said than done, but stop comparing yourself to others. Like I think you only feel that way if you're looking at other people's timelines and comparing yourself. But I think I have this conversation with friends of mine who have kids, and that's what I thought that's where I thought I would be. I thought I'd be very much along, like on the same timeline as them. And I do want kids. And there are moments where I feel a bit sad about that. But they say to me like, oh, it's so, it must be so freeing, like being able to just go and do whatever you want and you should make the most of it. And so I try and like think about it in that way and try and, it's not always possible, but feel positive about the benefits of being in the position that I'm in. And there are a lot. And yeah, so try and flip it, and rather than thinking about what you're losing or what you're missing by not being on the timeline you thought you would be on, really try and focus on what you do have and what you love about your life and the things that you wouldn't change right now. But yeah, it's tricky. I think also finding friends that are on the same timeline as you is really helpful because, if you are someone who thought you'd be married and thought you'd have kids or whatever you thought your timeline would be right now, if you're only surrounding yourself with people who are on that timeline, then you're going to feel like you're missing out. So try and find a community that is more aligned with you.
This next one's a voice note, which you can leave through the link in our bio. Just click the button and you can just talk into your phone really easy.
Hi, Olivia. I'm also an Olivia. I wanted to know your feelings and thoughts about getting married for a second time around. It was really instilled in me from a really young age that if I was to get married, that I was going to be all in wholeheartedly, and I very much was, until I wasn't being loved and supported the way that I needed, nor were my children. I very much still have that kind of dream about walking down the aisle and having my children watch on and see what a really loving relationship can be, should be, and to role model that aspect to them. And also to see that sometimes it's not family by blood that really stand in and support us the most, that it's the people that we pick and choose. But yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts. Bye.
Thanks, Olivia. I really love when we get voice note questions. It's so nice to hear from the listeners like that. I have a couple of things I want to say. First of all, I want to say congratulations to you for getting out of a marriage or, separating from your ex. When you do have children, it must be so much harder. I can only imagine that extra pressure. But to step away from something that isn't serving you, and you said you weren't being loved in the right way, I think it's really brave and admirable and obviously really challenging for your children. But I do think that it ends up teaching them a really good lesson about knowing your worth. So well done for doing that. I think there's a lot of pressure when it comes to marriage, and I know from my first marriage, only marriage, I haven't been married again. There was something in me that thought that marriage was going to be the thing that really solidified the relationship and made it stronger. And, because it feels like there's further to fall, I suppose, when it's like, you're my husband, you're my wife, like we're in this together. And that just wasn't true. I feel like that's kind of like we're sold a lie somewhat when it comes to marriage. Like it doesn't make the relationship mean more. So I am open to getting married again, but I don't hold it in this in the way that I think I used to, in that the only way I can show the world how much I love Hugo would be to marry him. Like I think there are so many other ways you can show up for each other every single day that don't involve getting married. In saying that, it is something we've spoken about and we both would like to get married, but I'm not really stuck on a timeline. Like I'd be open to having kids first. I don't really mind what that looks like. And for the person listening, I really want you to know that you don't have to show your kids love in that way in terms of a marriage. Like you don't have to show them that love and happiness and a strong relationship only comes with marriage. I think that we need to sort of take marriage off a pedestal somewhat. And also the wedding industry, I feel like the reason we all spend so much money on weddings is because it looks like it gives you this fairy tale ending, and it's just not always the case. So I think be open to finding love and open to new relationships and putting yourself out there, as scary as it can be. But I think try to focus less on the idea of marriage. I hope that makes sense.
It's a good answer. What is your complete fitness routine for a week?
This is a good question for right now because it looks very different to how it did, a month ago or 2 months ago when I was training for the marathon. I'm always a little hesitant to answer questions about fitness routine and food. I know this person didn't mention food, but a lot of the time people are like, what's a day in a plate, or what's a typical week like for you in terms of eating and fitness? The reason being I'm not an expert or a professional, and I think it's really dangerous when people copy exactly what someone else is doing, because we're all so different genetically, and we could be doing the exact same thing and it would look different for everyone. When it comes to fitness though, I really do try to listen to my body much more than I used to. I used to flog myself with exercise and think that I was only doing worthwhile exercise if I was dripping with sweat and exhausted at the end of a workout. Whereas now I'm doing a lot more slow, intentional strength exercise, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, I didn't think I would like it, but I'm trying to make the most of this slower phase of my life because I still have an injured hip. I can't run. So I'm walking and doing strength. So it's not like a set routine, but I do strength probably 4 times a week with Pilates. So maybe like 3 strength sessions and 2 Pilates sessions, or 4 strength, 1 Pilates. It sounds like a lot, but it's about half an hour a day. I really enjoy it. And then I'm just walking. And because of my hip, I don't go for massive walks. I probably do like half an hour at a time, if that. So yeah, it's a lot less. It's a lot less than what I was doing when I was running and training for the marathon. But I'm surprised by how much I'm enjoying it.
I'm getting married in December and I can't get my acne under control, spiraling. What the fuck do I do?
I can relate to that feeling of spiraling because of your skin. It is so stressful and you feel like you're in this never-ending cycle because people say don't stress and your skin will get better, but you stress because your skin feels like it's out of control and no matter what you do, you can't tame it. Acne is such a little bitch. I do not wish it upon anyone, and it's so tricky because I think the reason that the skin industry makes so much money from acne is because there is not one thing that works for everyone. Like if there was, no one would have acne. And you will try a million different things, I imagine. I tried a million different things, but then you never know what the thing is that's working when you're trying too many things at once. My advice is to get help from a professional, whether that's a dermatologist or a dermal therapist, and go by word of mouth. Don't just pick someone random. Do your research. And I know that is hard because they are not cheap, but I think that you can feel so alone in it and overwhelmed by the amount of information that's out there. So I think having someone helping you to drown out the noise and just focus on what you're doing and follow a program and get rid of everything else, I feel like that is the way to go about it. Also, what really helped me was getting out of a toxic relationship. Obviously, this person's getting married, so I really hope that their relationship isn't causing them stress. I imagine the wedding itself is probably causing you stress. So if you can, trying to reduce your stress. My other tip is to stop throwing too many actives at it. I found I would put on like breakout spot treatments and things, and then it would dry out my skin massively. So then I would have to put on lots of moisturizer to make up for that. And then I would break out more, and it was just like a vicious cycle. So stripping back to like a really simple routine really helped me.
We have a final voice note here.
Hi Liv, I love the pod and I've got a dilemma here I'm hoping you can help me with. I've been with my partner since I was 15 and I'm now 23. Over the years, we built a life together, we've bought a home and share pets who mean the world to me. Despite this, I've been struggling internally for quite some time. Years ago, when my parents moved away, I made the decision to stay in a city I never truly felt connected to, primarily for my partner, knowing he wouldn't want to relocate. Lately, I've been feeling a strong pull to explore my independence, to better understand who I am on my own, and to work through healing I know I can't fully access while staying in my current situation. I love my partner and I think the world of him, but I worry that if I continue down this path, I may grow to resent him. Not because of who he is, but because of what I've denied myself in order to stay. When I tried to express some of these feelings, he told me that leaving him would ruin his life. That broke me. Since then, I've questioned everything. Would it be easier to stay? Could I find happiness if I simply adjusted my mindset? This isn't about not loving him. It's about needing to rediscover myself, to grow, and to heal in ways I know I can't while staying in a life that no longer reflects the person I'm becoming. And it breaks me that my heart is just not in it anymore. I would appreciate any opinions or advice on how I can navigate my situation.
Thank you so much for that question. I think it's such a relatable situation to be in. Listening to that, I feel like you actually already know the answer. And I know that, well, I think that because I was very similar, not just in my marriage, but other relationships. When it got to a point where I was like, I don't think this is right for me anymore, I would start Googling, like, should I break up with my boyfriend? Like, or asking friends if that's what I should do. I think if you're already asking those questions, then the answer is probably yes. It sounds like you've sacrificed so much and you're already feeling a little resentful and you're not able to be your true self, and you're wondering if you could force yourself to stay and just change your mindset. You're not going to be happy if you're doing that. Like you said, you're already betraying yourself by doing the things that aren't fully aligned to you. And that feeling is only going to grow. That's not going to go away. It doesn't shrink. If the situation right now isn't right for you, you're only 23. Like, this is an amazing time to go out and explore and figure out who you are and what you want to be. You should never stay in a situation because you feel like you have to. And I think when you've bought a house together and you have pets together, that makes it tricky. But I would say this to people who have children as well. Like, people can't just stay in a relationship for the children or because they're financially tied together. Logistically, it's hard. Selling a house is really challenging, particularly when there's difficult feelings around it and you've broken up with someone, but it is not impossible and it is not so hard that you should stay. I think it might seem easier to stay in the sense of like all of the decisions that you have to make and the moves you need to make are going to be hard, but you will be so much happier and so much better for it on the other side. And I think you will look back and be really proud of yourself. I think my advice for anybody who listened to that and found it relatable and is wondering what they should do, speak to a psychologist if you can, or a counselor to get some extra guidance. But I think, if you're seeking the answer, you probably already know what the answer is.
Thanks to everyone who sent in voice notes. Keep them coming. We love it.
Yeah, we love it.
And questions in your question box. They're great as well. Let's do watch, read, listen.
Watch, read, listen. Okay. To watch, I haven't quite finished it and I have like a bit of a love-hate relationship with it, but I also think it is worth watching. It's Too Much on Netflix. Have you watched it?
No. Saw you post about it.
Yeah. So it's produced and directed by Lena Dunham, I'm pretty sure. So you definitely get her sense of humor throughout. The main character is pretty frustrating. She makes a lot of decisions that I'm like, why are you doing that? But she takes you on a journey, and I feel like there are some really relatable parts. I found there's one episode that reflects on her old relationship and sort of shows how the cracks started to form in that relationship. And I found that really relatable. I think that is a good watch, particularly for the people who are submitting questions about relationships and stuff. I think that, it's worth watching. To read, I brought it with me. And I don't think I'm going to say her name right. I believe it is Sarah Kubrick, but we'll just call her the millennial therapist because that I can't stuff up. This is the book. It's called It's On Me. I actually read it a little while ago, but I reflect on it often. It is one of those books that I think everyone should read. It's really, really good. It's been really helpful in terms of, I think, reflecting on the last couple of years and seeing how much progress I've made with therapy. I wish I'd read it a couple of years ago. I think it would have helped me more then. But I think it's sort of solidified the things that I know now from therapy. So highly recommend that book. And to listen, I've been binging. I need to check. I always forget if it's everybody or everyone. Everyone Has an Ex. I've gone back and binged. It's a podcast hosted by Georgia Love. And obviously I love talking about relationship stuff and listening to content about that. And I just find the stories fascinating. So yeah, definitely recommend listening to that. They actually haven't launched a new episode in a while, but there's lots there. There's like a few seasons, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
I'm watching, this is hilarious. I'm watching Breaking Bad for the first time. I never watched it when it came out, and it's always listed as like the greatest show of all time. So I'm halfway through season 4.
Wow, that really does shock me that you've never watched that. It feels like a very you show.
And I know, like I tend to avoid lists sometimes. Like if the things are on the top of the list, sometimes I don't watch them because it's too high expectations. And like You're just like trying to be different. I just feel like the expectation's too high.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm halfway through season 4, so I'm almost finished with that. And that's I'm 20 years late, so no spoilers here, obviously, but it's good. A controversial take. I don't see how it's going to finish up and be my favorite show of all time. To be honest, it's great. I like it. It's getting better and better, but it can't be the best show of all time for me. So that's what I'm watching. I've only just finished the last book that I recommended, which was Dark Matter. It was very good, and I do recommend it. But I'm about to start the Hail Mary Project by Andy Weir, and I think that's gonna be my listen as well, because I've heard apparently it's an incredible audiobook. Like apparently it's really good to listen to. I've been enjoying reading and listening. I just feel like I get interrupted a bit, and like it's nice to be able to like have the least it helps me not be as distracted.
Do you know, I don't know if we've said this before or I've said this before, but I often do this. You can get a book on your Kindle and then get it on Audible and it syncs up.
No. So like, what? It shows you the line it's up to or something? It'll
just take you there.
Oh, cool.
Because you connect them. So I can read my book, like I prefer reading at night just before I go to sleep. And then say during the day, if I go for a walk or I'm cooking or whatever, put my headphones in and it'll take me to the exact same spot on the Audible.
Oh, that's
version.
Amazing. Because I've been solely reading and listening to some books,
and then you have to find the spot.
Yeah. I'll just be very active in finishing at an easy spot to start.
Oh yeah,
like a chapter end or whatever. So that would be very handy. But no, I'm analog. I have a bookmark that I have to. But yeah, so
you should try that.
But that book, Hail Mary Project, which is a very popular book, people probably heard of it. But they've just announced they're making a movie of it, and like Ryan Gosling's the lead. So I think it's probably, they usually make those big movies if it's a good book. So
yeah, cool. I'll add it to my list.
Yeah,
thanks.
That was my listen too. Yeah, Oranges and Lemons.
Oranges and Lemons. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, okay. I'll make an orange. My orange can be about the show a little bit. Well, about we keep speaking about merch, and everyone's heard us speak about the merch. We have a huge sign up of people on our wait list for the merch, so that's exciting. That's a big orange, and very excited to get that live. I think my lemon is that we're a few staff down at the moment, as you can tell when you've come in. There's a few people out on leave all at once, which somebody approved. I don't know who approved that. And it just always causes like a lot of things to get handballed and pressure. So I guess that's probably my lemon.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You are juggling a lot of balls.
Yeah. I bet you regret saying that.
Okay, what is my lemon? What's a new lemon? I think about this. Oh, while I'm looking at my coat, like this is such a stupid lemon, but it's a lemon. This coat, I love it so much, but it is covered in fluff. And I got it dry cleaned the other day because I was like, I can't use a lint roller to get all of this off. The lady was like, what have you been doing? It looked like I've been rolling around in wool, but I haven't. I don't know. It just picks up fluff from the atmosphere. So my lemon is that no matter what I do with this coat, I'm just covered in fluff and it makes me look grotty. And I hate that. So if anyone has some really good hacks for getting it off, that would be really helpful. Apparently putting on rubber gloves and like rubbing yourself could work. So I'm going to try that after this. My orange is, although I feel bad for my sister because it would be mighty annoying, my little nephew, Walter, is so cute and I'm obsessed with him. And he just turned 2 a couple of months ago. And I've been trying to get him to love me as much as my niece loves me. And I feel like I've had to work harder. But my sister sent me a photo of him at 4:45 a.m. Well, actually, it was 5:15 Melbourne time because they're in Adelaide. And he was crying. And she said he's crying at 4:45 in the morning because he wants to call you and I won't let him call you. And that sounds sick and twisted saying it out loud, that my orange is my nephew crying, but my orange is that he loves me so much that he thinks about me when he wakes up. And yeah, that just really made me happy. So that's my orange.
That's hilarious. Oh, I don't miss those 4:45 wakes, that's for sure.
Yeah. See, I just get like the positive love from that, not the experience of the wake ups. That's the thing about being an auntie. Like, you get the perks.
Yeah, you get the perks and you can hand it back.
Yeah. But that's it.
Awesome.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone,
Have
for
a good
listening. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to Tell Me More. If you enjoyed the episode, please leave us a review, share it with your friends, and follow or subscribe to the podcast. Your help in growing this community would mean so much to me.